Hello students, in the previous lesson you have learned about the morphology of leaf. Today you are going to learn about the different parts of a flower. Now before I go into details regarding the parts of a flower, you need to know what is a flower. A flower is a special part of the plant that facilitate the reproduction process through the production of seed. Now let's see the parts of the flower. The first one that we get to see is the calyx. Now this calyx is the outermost wall of the flower. See, that is outermost wall of a flower means these are the exterior parts of a flower, and this protects the interior flower while it emerges. As you can see in the picture, it is green in color. The sepal is the first part of the flower to grow, forming at the uppermost end of a stem. The next part is the corolla. This corolla is commonly known as petals, and these petals, as you can see in the diagram here, these are brightly colored and has got fragrance, and the main function of the corolla is to help in the reproductive process of the plant. Next is androecium. Now this androecium is the third wall or the third part of the flower, which contains the male part of the flower, that is the stamen, this one. Now this stamen has got two parts. One, the stalk-like structure. This is known as the filament, and the sac-like structure here, it is known as anther, and this is a pollen producing region from where the pollens are produced, and this pollens will be helping in the reproductive process later on. Next is the gynoecium. This gynoecium is the female reproductive part of the flower, and this female reproductive part of the flower, it is the innermost wall of the flower, and it contains pistil. And this pistil has got three parts. The first one that you can see here is the stigma. The stalk-like structure, as you can see here, is a style, and this part is the ovary. This constitutes the pistil. What is the function of the stigma? This stigma actually receives the pollen grains that is being received by the male reproductive part, and this pollen grain passes through the style and reaches the ovary, and this is the site where the fertilization takes place, that is the reproduction is taking place and a new individual is being formed. This is all about the different parts of the flower. Next we are going to learn about different terminologies related to flower. The first one that we see is the perianth. Is basically the part of the flower which is a non-reproductive part, and it usually consists of calyx and corolla, known as perianth. Another term you may come across is the gamosepalous. Gamo means jointed. So when the sepals are fused or jointed, if you see in the picture here, you will see that the sepals here are jointed. Then it is known as gamosepalous, and it is seen in hibiscus. Next is polysepalous. The word poly means separate. That means when the sepals are separated like this. If you compare gamosepalous and polysepalous, you will be able to understand what I am trying to say. Here in the gamosepalous, the sepals were fused. In the polypetalous, the sepals are separate, and this is seen in rows. Next is gamopetalous. Gamo means fused, so gamopetalous means united or fused petals. If you see here, you'll be able to understand this. Next is polypetalous. Here the petals are free. If you see in the picture, you'll be able to distinguish between gamopetalous and polypetalous. Here the petals are free, here the petals are fused. Now coming to the symmetry of the flower. Now what is the meaning of symmetry? Now floral symmetry means when the flower can be divided into two or more identical or mirror image parts. If you look at any flower from above, and if you cut it in half through the perianth, the two halves might be relatively identical or identical only along one plane or not identical at all. So based on this, flowers can be classified into actinomorphic, zygomorphic and asymmetric. Now if you see this picture, in actinomorphic it is radially symmetrical. That means any type of cut is made through the center will be able to divide the flower into equal parts. From here, any cut, if it is made from the center, then you will get equal parts of the flower. Such type of flower is known as actinomorphic flower. The next type is the zygomorphic flower, where it is bilaterally symmetrical. That means this type of flower can be bisected into equal halves, but at one plane only, forming mirror image. Okay, this type of flower is known as zygomorphic flower. Another type of flower is asymmetric flower, this one, where the flower cannot be divided into two equal parts, as you can see in the picture, from any plane. Then it is said to be asymmetric. Flowers can also be classified based on the position of the ovary. Now, based on the position of the ovary, they can be classified into hypogynous flower, perigynous flower, epigynous flower. Coming to the hypogynous flower, if you see the picture here, you will see here the sepals, petals and the stamens. They are attached below the ovary, and the ovaries of such flowers are said to be superior. And this is seen in tomato, tulip, snapdragon and so on. Next is perigynous flower. Here you will find that there is a cup-like structure here that is being formed, which partly surrounds the ovary. In such flowers, the sepals, petals and the stamens, these are attached to the rim of this cup-like structure, and the ovaries here also are superior, and this is basically found in cherry. Coming to epigynous flower, here the sepals, petals and the stamens, they appear to be attached to the upper part of the ovary due to the fusion of the cup-like structure, this one, and the ovaries here are said to be inferior. Such type of flower is seen in daffodil. Flowers can also be classified as complete flower, incomplete flower. Now, if a flower possesses whole parts such as petals, stamens, pistils, then it is said to be a complete flower, like this in hibiscus, or you can also find it in rose. And if a flower lacks one or more parts of the 4 flower parts as I have mentioned earlier, then it is said to be the incomplete flower. It is seen in begonia. Again, flowers can also be classified into bisexual flower and unisexual flower. Plants such as hibiscus, rose, pea and mango, they bear flowers which have got both the male and the female parts. Male means androecium, female means gynoecium. So they are having both the androecium and the gynoecium in the same flower. Such type of flower is known as bisexual flower. Now, if the flower possess either of the reproductive organs in one flower, in other words, if a flower possess either stamens or carpels, or rather either androecium or gynoecium, but not both in the same flower, then it is said to be unisexual flower. It is seen in papaya flower, watermelon, cucumber, maize. Flowers can also be classified into monocot flower and dicot flower. Now, if you see that any plant is flowering, and if you carefully observe it, you can tell whether it is a monocot or dicot after you see this video. How? Just by counting the number of petals and other flower parts. Now, how will you say it is a monocot? If you see here, if the flower parts are in threes or multiple of threes, as you can see in the picture, then you will consider it as monocot flower. And if the flower parts here, like this, are in multiple of 4s or 5s, then this 5-petaled or 4-petaled flower will be considered as dicot flower. So after watching this video, you'll be able to say whether the flower is a monocot or a dicot flower just by counting the number of petals. Now, coming to the functions of the flower. As from the beginning onwards, I am saying flowers play a very important role in the reproductive processes. So the main function of the flower is reproduction, because flowers are the reproductive organs of the plants. Not only that, it also provides nectar to the insects. You often see insects sitting on the flower for pollination. I will discuss pollination afterwards. Just to understand in this video, pollination is a process by which pollen grains are being transferred by some pollinators or by external agencies like insects in order to enhance the reproduction process. So you will often see insects sitting on the flower, and the flower is providing nectar to the insects. So this is also a function. Next is, from these flowers you will be able to identify plants very easily. So this was all about the morphology of flower. In the next lesson, you're going to learn about fruits and seeds. Till then, thank you.